To our big story now, the police officer charged with manslaughter for allegedly killing her neighbor is out on bond today. Upgraded charges could be on the way, though. The incident happened late last Thursday night. The Dallas Police Department says 30-year-old officer Amber Geiger got home from work and mistakenly walked into 26-year-old Botham Jean's apartment, believing it was her own. They then say she thought he was an intruder, so she shot and killed him. Attorneys for Jean's family believe that things might have gone differently if Jean were white.
He had a future before him, but we have one issue. And the city of Dallas needs to realize this, is that we have a training issue when it comes for officers dealing with unarmed African Americans. For some reason, there is a tendency to pull that trigger very fast and to answer questions later. We have heard a number of statements that this officer felt that her apartment was being burglarized. And we know that there's a very thin line between off-duty and on-duty.
Yesterday, Officer Geiger turned herself in. She was released on $300,000 bond. Ed Lavandera is following this story for us, and we're getting this word that there's a chance that the manslaughter charges could be upgraded. What do we know about that, Ed?
Right. Well, this is according to the Dallas County District Attorney, Faith Johnson, who says that over the weekend that there were, quote, very spirited discussions over exactly what this officer should be charged with. Late yesterday, Sunday afternoon, the Texas Rangers, which is not the baseball team, but the state police force that was investigating, became the lead in this case, took over the case and filed that manslaughter charge. But the district attorney here in Dallas, Michaela, says that they will present more testimony, more evidence to a grand jury, and it appears that it could be possible that perhaps this charge could be upgraded to murder if the grand jury decides to do that. So this is still very much fluid and appears that it could change. The timeline on when that testimony and evidence will be presented to the grand jury probably is several weeks away.
You know, Ed, I can't get over this whole situation, and I keep coming back to this victim. This guy's literally chilling at his house, minding his own business in his own home. And this officer walks in and shoots and kills him. What more are we learning about him? I imagine friends and family and colleagues are so shocked by all of this.
Right. Well, we heard from his mother today. Her son was the middle child, so her two other children were alongside. She was there at that press conference. The district attorney, again, she's been expressing some frustration as to not being able to get what she believes are basic answers at this point to what happened, because she basically came out and said that the one thing that she is desperately trying to get an understanding of is why and how all of this could have happened. You know, it's obviously very difficult to fathom that her son could be sitting there in his own apartment just a couple of blocks away from the Dallas Police Department headquarters. So presumably you'd think it's a rather safe area to be in, and then have this officer apparently mistake, or at least according to that's what Dallas police officials are saying, that this officer is saying that she mistakenly went to the wrong apartment. Now, what is unclear at this point, we just don't have a lot of information, is how long this interaction happened. How long did it take from the moment that the officer opened the door, or how far into the apartment did she get into before these shots were fired that killed Mr. Jean? All of that is completely unanswered at this point, at least publicly, and investigators aren't tipping their hat as to just how much of those details they have at this point.
Yeah, this is going to be one that we're going to follow closely. Ed, we appreciate your reporting. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk about weather.